Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.
Oh, wow. We're live, David. Again.
Okay, good. Again, all right. At long last, we are back on Chaos Live on a beautiful Wednesday night. At least it's a beautiful Wednesday night here in North Texas, but I came from West Texas where, of all things, it's raining out there. And so they're experiencing some of that wet stuff for the first time in a while, but happy to have everybody tuning in for Chaos Live. And Lee, man, I've been seeing you all over the world of social media, but getting a chance to talk with you, it's been a day or two. So good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, David. I am here in Tennessee, just north of Knoxville on my way home, and decided to lots of echo. Who's echoing? Let me ask that. So, yeah, heading home, finally. Get some time in there. And what a tremendous trip it has been. PRI was great. We had some Chaos announcements while there, and we're able to catch up with many personalities of the Chaos while there. And good news for Chaos out of the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show.
Well, good. Yeah, we have seen that there was a very good attendance and a very active show there at Indy. And so along those lines, tell us more.
Well, Larice Motorsports Insurance, they are continuing with us in the Chaos world. And Darren Foster, Twisted Shifters 360 Steel, he is continuing with Nitro Chaos and going to be a title sponsor for races coming up, as well as McKinney Motorsports. McKinney Corporation is the now official fab source for both Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos. Dean Dublin and Gary Wheeler with DMP Awnings with Chaos again for 2024, headlining the Nitro Chaos Tour. So we've got many good sponsors and supporters on board. And in fact, one of the individuals on tonight supports Chaos directly with their funds, but also with assisting many of our drivers in the proper safety equipment and apparel that they need.
Well, very good to hear, and I hope that this is going out better to the rest of the world than it is here in the studio with me, as I'm getting not a whole lot of what you're saying there, but I do know that the news from Larice Motorsports Insurance, from Twisted Shifters and 360 Steel and McKinney Corp, along with several other sponsors that have renewed for 2024. Things are looking good, and I wanted to send a shout out there to Marvin Rodak. I've got a little Christmas blend here, keeping me enthused and infused on this Wednesday night for Chaos Live. We're going to get a chance. We're going to talk safety tonight, because safety is one of those things that, whether it's in the front of our racers and fans' minds or not, it's certainly something that is not far from it. And of course, it's one of those things that should be front and center in our minds. And of course, we have one of the best in the industry as a supporter of the Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos world. And we've got Dennis Taylor coming up a little bit later on in the show, and we're going to get a chance to talk with him. Hey, Lee, I just mentioned I was out in Lubbock, Texas, and didn't get a chance to see everybody's favorite Andy Mears, but I did get a chance to talk to him, and got word from him that his reports are good. and I'm not trying to create any kind of emergency situation. But Andy's been a little bit under the weather, but all of his reports are good. He's on the mend, and he's chomping at the bit to get back behind the butterflies of the Game Exchange Jet Dragster in 2024. And of course, there's people that know Andy Mears, and everybody that knows Andy Mears loves him. So we want to send the best to him, and glad to hear the good news coming out from Lubbock, Texas.
Well, that is certainly good news, David, and may he continue to move forward in recouping. It is certainly in chaos a family. We want to see these people to continue, whoever they are, to be doing the best that they can, and it's good to hear that moving forward. And just dropped today someone moving forward in their program. Wayne Hoffman is always doing something neat and cool, and he has dropped what his livery will look like for the 2024 season, or at least a part of it, going with a look of dear old dad in the Western Auto days, and that is a sharp looking car already, that Firebird body that Wayne showed.
Well, it is, and when the spy photos were released, before, and I haven't seen anything other than just the body. I thought, well, are we going Western Auto, because that was the first thing that came to mind, and as that was a strong performing race car, and of course, I don't know that there's been another Western Auto sponsored machine, but Al Hoffman certainly had that. It'll be good to see that back in the world of funny car racing in 2024. So there's a lot of news that's coming up, and of course, one of the next things that we'll have on our calendar, of course, is the tuning seminar, and the teams and tuning seminar that's coming up with Will Hanna there at the Texas Motorplex coming up next month. But right now, there's a whole lot of folks that are getting ready for family get-togethers. I know that Levi Graves is getting a chance to see Christmas lights for the first time tonight, and so if you can just imagine the wonder in a child's eyes, as we have experienced ourselves and we've seen with those that are close to us, there's going to be an awful lot of that taking place. But really, an opportunity to visit with our Chaos family here, as we have been in a little bit of the off season here for a little bit, but really enjoying the chance to get out in front of everybody and extend Christmas greetings and talk to some of the folks that help make sure that our series continues to go on, to go strong, and to advance safely. And so that's what's coming up here in just a little bit. Our first guest is going to be coming up after the break, and we will talk right after our break with Dennis Taylor, the official safety supplier of the Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos Championship Tours. And Taylor Motorsports owner will be with us right after we come back.
Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.
And we are back, and welcome to you, Dennis Taylor. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on Chaos Live. For a lot of folks, they've heard your name forever and ever, but maybe have never seen the face before. So we're glad to get everybody to have the chance to see you and get a chance to hear from you. Welcome to Chaos Live. Sound looks like we've got no sound.
Dennis, did you get unmute? Did you mute yourself somehow? We had him good before the show. All right, Dennis, try this for me. Leave the show and come back. Okay? Try that for me.
All right, sir. We're going to have Dennis leave the studio, and he will log back in. So he will be coming back here momentarily.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. It does happen, and it's kind of funny how quickly some of this thing gets away from you when you don't do it like every other week, like we're doing during the racing season.
Well, it's amazing how everything before you go live can seem like we are just fine. Yeah. This is a go. And then it all goes awry once you hit the live button. But we'll get Dennis back. His sound was just fine during pre-show. So during the show, we'll have him here in a few moments, hopefully. And he's back. Can we hear him?
Can you hear me?
All right. We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome back. That seems to have worked. Still have some feedback coming from somewhere. Hey, Dennis, have to know you've raced.
Yes, sir.
You've raced nitro. You've raced funny cars. You've raced dragsters, and of course, we talk about that. You guys are racers, helping racers to stay safe with the finest safety equipment available. Tell us how long did you race nitro?
Well, I raced nitro a couple of different times. I drove top fuel cars back in the 80s from 81 through about 86, I guess. And then I spent 20 plus years racing alcohol funny cars, and then stopped and built a nostalgia nitro funny car that I raced for a few years. And then my son started driving it. And he spent the last 7 years or so driving it. So I think I've spent most of my time in either nitro or alcohol powered cars.
Wow. So going fast was definitely high on the list of priorities for Dennis Taylor. You know, one of the things that people have this stereotype of racers as being 10 feet tall and bulletproof and, you know, safety equipment, what's that? But you find that there are a lot of racers that, and certainly the older we get, maybe the wiser we get, and it becomes very much, and of course, as fast as these cars are going these days, it becomes very, very important to people. When did you start? When was the light bulb moment that you thought, I'm going to go ahead and start a business to protect myself and to protect my fellow racers?
Well, you know, I think, you know, as you're a young race car driver, you always think you're invincible and that you're Superman. And unfortunately, I think too many younger racers have the thought that, oh, it can't happen to me type of thing. But it was actually a career change. I had a custom upholstery shop. Things were starting to go downhill. And it was just a matter of timing for me. NHRA mandated engine diapers for alcohol and nitro cars back in the late part of 1993. And it just hit me at the right time. I was driving somebody else's alcohol funny car at the time, and also building the engines for that team. And it was like, man, I really should take this opportunity and run with it. And it just flourished from that particular one item. 6 months later, we were into transmission blankets, blower restraints, and eventually seat belts. And down the road, I bought another company that I actually was a distributor for, Phoenix Custom, out of Denver. And that's how we got involved in doing fire suits.
Wow. That is great. So what I'm hearing is race car driver, race car tuner, engine builder, safety equipment manufacturer. I'm hearing Renaissance man, jack of all trades, and obviously not one of those guys who's the master of none, because you have certainly mastered the craft. there with your company, as you have people worldwide calling you up.
Well, that is true. In fact, we shipped some stuff to Australia, to a racer in Australia today, and I've got some recertification stuff here from people in England, Finland, and Sweden at the moment.
That's right. Well, the Funny Car Chaos a few years ago, whenever it was mandated to go to one-piece suits, I know that that particular mandate was something that that brought additional activity with people getting new fire suits, getting fire suits converted, and that kind of thing. And you know, those mandates, they don't come because people are, you know, somebody's just trying to make things tough. They're actually trying to save folks' lives, and that's a very big deal. We lose people on occasion, but the quality of safety equipment in drag racing. Yeah, you remember the series And They Walked Away. In the world of drag racing, we're so surprised when they don't walk away because it's so unusual.
Well, it certainly is unusual. And, you know, anytime you see, at least when I see a crash or a fire or something, I kind of don't give it a second thought anymore, you know, about them not coming out of it. And, you know, all of these rules that we have today, you know, through NHRA, through Chaos and all of that, you know, they're pretty much all written in blood. Somebody had to sacrifice something so we could make the world better. You know, we didn't start off knowing that, you know, we needed X, Y, Z to, you know, to help people. And of course, materials and technology have changed over the years too, to make everything better. It's not just us and the racers looking for things, but the technical world has made things change as well.
Bobby Martin chiming in there saying he had one of those first blankets in 1993 and has been using Taylor products ever since then. There are a number of relationships that you have built and established and cemented through the years. There's that's quite, you've got quite the Rolodex, don't you?
Well, I really do. You know, certainly our customers run the gamut from Top Fuel all the way down into the sportsman classes. And, you know, I'm just tickled to death that I'd like to call all of our customers friends as well. You know, I'd love to be able to go see them at the races and shake hands with them and really get to know them as well. But yeah, you're right. Pretty much everybody that runs a real fast car probably has something that we make. They certainly don't have all of it, but one piece of the puzzle they probably do have on their cars.
Now, your manufacturing facility is in Oregon. Has it always been there, or have you had expansions through the years?
Well, we were based in Southern California my whole life. And 8 years ago, we made the big move to move our families and our business up here to Oregon. The business climate in California is not what it used to be. You know, it's funny. You think back when I started in drag racing, you know, you used to be able to build a car, build an engine, have it painted, and race it within about a 50-mile radius of Southern California. And it's just not that way anymore.
Yes, it has certainly changed. I'm of that age group that, you know, could not wait for Hot Rod and Carcraft to get in. And then when I, you know, at one point when I got National Dragster for a little while, to wait for National Dragster to come in every week, you know, to see those results from Southern California, from Irwindale and from Bakersfield, where we're going this year, and you know, from Orange County and all those tracks out there. And of course, once a year, Pomona. But yes, it has certainly changed. And we're glad you found a place where the business climate lends itself towards you being able to serve your clientele better and better all the time. So are you still, you know, the Evil, Wicked, Mean, and Nasty, beautiful Mach 1 funny car. And that's one of those things that I go back to the old T-shirts from the magazines. 57 Chevy. 5.7s are evil, wicked, mean, and nasty. And that's just one of those things that stuck with me forever. Now, that was the car you had and your son drove. Now, that car has changed hands now, right?
That's right. In fact, that car is in your neck of the woods now. It was purchased a couple of months ago by a fellow by the name of Mike Irwin. And that car you will see on the Chaos Tour next year, from what I'm told.
Funny Car Mike bringing the Mach 1 out in 2024. That is going to be another one of those exciting developments. We have been experiencing so much growth, so many funny cars being built, rebuilt, coming out to Funny Car Chaos. And, you know, a big part of the success of the series has to do with people like you. And we are very thankful that that you support the racing through Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. But have you seen anything like this in a while?
Well, I really haven't seen it since, you know, let me tell you this story. The first time I came and saw a Chaos event was, I don't know, three years ago. I think it was the very first race that Chris had at the Motorplex. And there was something like 70 funny cars or 80 funny cars. And I remember walking through the staging lanes, and what I reminisced about was that was just like the 70s when I was a kid at Orange County International Raceway, when you had all the funny cars from all the stars from all over the country. And that's exactly what it reminded me of. And, you know, Chris and Tara have done such a great job promoting the events, and there's certainly a place in this world for Funny Car Chaos, and it's tremendous. I'm a big supporter of what they're trying to do.
Well, we're so glad, and the number of people with that exact same reaction is like, you know, you're looking out of the tower. I'm in the tower and I'm looking back and I'm going, I can't even see the end of the line out there. It was just so great to have that many funny cars, and you know, Bubba Corzine getting extremely excited about all those cars out there, and the youngsters. I can say that I'm old enough now that I can refer to somebody as youngsters, but I love it for people who are the age now that I was then, like you were then, getting to experience that same rush. And it is a rush when you see that much color, all those flip top bodies, and then they start lining up and firing up. And it is just something that is unmistakable and unforgettable. So that was your first one. And we look forward to seeing you at many, many more as you get the opportunity and take advantage of that. And, you know, we're excited to have, be going coast to coast now, as we added Maryland in 23 and adding California in 24 with Funny Car Chaos on the east side and Nitro Chaos on the west side. That's going to be coast to coast for all things chaos. We can't wait.
Yeah, I think going to Bakersfield at the end of the year will be a big shot in the arm. I think you'll see a lot of West Coast cars that would like to be involved in chaos and maybe can't travel as far as they'd like to, but that gives them the opportunity now to show up at Bakersfield. You know, and a lot of people really think that, you know, we hear this from the fans, you know, that Bakersfield is kind of like hallowed ground, especially for, you know, the nostalgia movement and some of the older body styles and what have you. So I really think Bakersfield would be a big hit for chaos.
Yeah, we think so too, and we're hoping that everybody that can come to that one will come to that one, as that could be another one of those reminiscent of the old days, back when you know, the March meet used to have 5 rounds, 32 top fuel dragsters squaring off, plus all the other categories out there. It's a place where, you know, where dreams come true, a place where legends were established. And for us to be able to bring chaos out there is definitely going to be fun. Hey, what's the holidays season look like for the Taylor family?
Well, we're so busy here at the shop with recertifications and new stuff, for next year. There's really not much of an off season, but I got to tell you, the only day we really take off here, will be Christmas, so we can spend it. Everybody can spend it with their families. But day after Christmas, we'll be hard, back at it, trying to get everything done in time for everybody that needs their stuff.
Yeah, that's right. The off season for the racers, that's not the off season for the manufacturers. You guys people are counting on you to be the Santa Claus, so to speak, because you got to deliver. Maybe not on Christmas Eve, but certainly before racing season starts.
Well, it comes sooner than than you think. And NHRA has moved their program back, but that doesn't mean it doesn't start. Chaos starts fairly early. You've got the big pro race going on in February. The regional series starting at the first part of March in Gainesville. Then you got the Gator Nationals right after that, and the March meet as well. The first weekend of March, I believe, is the March meet. So we got the nostalgia guys to make sure that they get taken care of as well.
Are you sensing in our sport a bit of growth in not only chaos, but in NHRA, in other areas of all types of racing? Are you sensing an upsurge in interest and activity?
Well, I certainly am. And I mean, look at some of the pro announcements that came last week at the PRI show. Some of the guys that, that are fielding teams, you had Jacob McNeil that bought Buddy Hull's car there in Texas. And the Sean Reed racing operation. And, Sean Reed's planning to run a full 21 race schedule with NHRA. We're also seeing a lot more interest in top alcohol dragster. You've got Randy Meyer that rents out rides, and you've got the, you've got the McPhillips family that's fielding a couple of different cars for 3 or 4 drivers. And I think it's just a matter of time, really, before we see the alcohol funny car thing kick back up again. I really believe this A-Fuel dragster or A-Fuel funny car thing will kind of come around. We'll see more cars, and that's another chance for guys to get their feet wet by renting rides in those cars as well. But I think racing in general, we do a lot of work with the tractor pull industry too, and that is really going crazy right now. And we certainly don't see less racers coming in. We definitely see more coming in than going out.
Well, that is outstanding, and that's great for those of us, because there was a time it was like hard to make a full field in certain categories, and that just seems to have changed as additional people are stepping forward, sponsors are stepping forward. And, the coverage that is afforded the racers and the sponsors, you're talking about the top alcohol funny car, the injected nitro, top alcohol funny car running in that class. Our own Lee Kraft has been giving a lot of exposure to the alcohol dragster and alcohol funny car categories. And of course, he also does a lot of work with one of our sponsors, McKinney Corporation. And they are busy at McKinney, just like you're busy at Taylor Motorsports. It's like everybody is really turning out a lot of work, and that just bodes well for the future of our great sport. So I'm really excited to see that, and all of that means is, hey, invite somebody to the races, have them come out and see what all the excitement is about, because there's just nothing about it, nothing like it. And you've sat behind those throbbing supercharged engines, and you've sat in front of them too. What were some of your favorite rides in your racing career?
Well, they all have some sort of being a favorite. Of course, I got to tell you, of all the cars I've driven in the different classes, alcohol funny car was certainly where I had the most success but the most fun. And I probably miss that more than anything. Revving it up on the starting line and swapping feet and shifting it twice. And, those cars were fast. I actually went faster in an alcohol funny car than I did in a top fuel dragster. And it was, technical things that progressed over the years and all that. And the Nitro nostalgia car was a lot of fun. It was a little easier to drive, but it is pretty cool, driving it at night, and you've got the fire coming out the pipes. You can see it out the side window. That was an awful lot of fun. But I got to tell you, alcohol funny car for me, that's why I'm so passionate about these alcohol classes. Is I really miss driving those cars.
I think that Bill Naves and Kirk Williams would concur, and Lance Van Allen and a lot of those guys that like to swap feet, and they would probably bear you out on that story. That's where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what's next for Taylor Motorsports Products as far as where the business goes from here?
Well, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've gotten more involved in different forms of racing. There's a fair amount of dirt late model circle track racing up here in Oregon, and those guys have realized that we moved to town, and we're selling seat belts and window nets and fire suits as well to a lot of those roundy round guys. The tractor pull market has gotten huge for us. Some rule changes this year with we've been building an awful lot of turbocharger restraints or turbocharger blankets. There's been some rule changes that have mandated that to happen, a little bit more this year. And we've also built some restraints for the pro mods that have the pro chargers after NHRA had some incidents earlier in the year. So we've now got that going on. And every once in a while, we get involved in some industrial applications. We've made kind of like bulletproof blankets for big industrial fans and test equipment. And there seems to be a whole another side to industrial ballistic safety equipment that we're just kind of now exploring. So I think that may be part of the future.
That is outstanding and good to know. Whenever you do something so well that the word of mouth gets around, it's a great way to build a business. And obviously your business is growing because of the quality of work that you guys do. And I can't tell you enough, Dennis, how much we appreciate you for all the support you give to our racers and to our series. And I'm telling you, it is such a delight to have you on and have people get a chance to meet you and find out more of your story. And so thank you so much for spending some time with us here this evening.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for having me. No matter what we get involved with here at Taylor Motorsports, our passion is still drag racing, and it's always going to be that way. And I'm just happy that we're able to give back a little bit to the sport that we love so much.
Wow, it is greatly appreciated. Hey, to you, to your family, to all the people that make the great things happen at Taylor Motorsports Product, we want to send season's greetings, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and and blessings to you and all of those in your circle. And again, we look forward to seeing you at the races, and of course, racers, you can all find them at TaylorMotorsportsProducts.com, and of course, they will be delighted to help you with all the safety equipment applications that you need. Again, Dennis, thank you so much for being with us here tonight.
Thanks for having me, David and Lee, and Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll see you first of the year.
Outstanding. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Dennis Taylor bringing the story to you from right there at their place up in Oregon, where all the good stuff is manufactured and shipped from. Like he said, worldwide. Just sent some stuff out today to Australia, so the word has definitely gotten around. So we are delighted that he is a big part of the program at Chaos. And we look forward to seeing him coming up at the season opener. It sounds like we might get a chance to see him in person there at the Texas Motorplex April 4th, 5th, and 6th for the kickoff of the season. Can't wait. Hey, we're going to be talking with one of the guys with boots on the ground, so to speak, at all the Chaos events, as Brad Thompson is going to be up next, our next guest here as we continue our final Chaos show of the 2023 calendar year. So right after this, Brad Thompson coming your way. Stay with us.
Chaos Nation, whether you are near or far, you can finally represent Funny Car Chaos wherever you are at. TheChaosStore.com is the place to visit to get your merch from the world's only Outlaw Funny Car series. And there's even exclusive deals online, as in the 3 t-shirts you are seeing right now on your screen. But it's more than just the tees. You can get your Funny Car Chaos stickers, hats, beanies, everything else. World of Funny Car Chaos there at thechaosstore.com.
Spell Paving Services provides professional customer service and performance for your next industrial or large-scale private paving project. From parking lots, roads, and driveways to seal coat, chip seal, concrete, and asphalt, there's no job too big for the team at Spell Paving Services. Serving a 500-mile radius from Dallas-Fort Worth, Spell Paving Services has you covered. Call 214-384-3056 to get a competitive quote today and tell them the Chaos sent you.
Welcome back to Chaos Live. Hey, I don't know if everybody picked up on it during that last interview, but Fred Spell, the owner of Spell Paving Services, was up at PRI, and of course he's got his own race car now, and he got fitted for a Taylor Motorsports Products fire suit while he's up there in Indianapolis, so he was chiming in on that a little bit earlier. Hey, joining us tonight, Bradley Thompson. Brother, it is so good to see your smiling face, and welcome to Chaos Live.
Thank you, David.
You know what? You are one of those guys that has been with Chaos since the very beginning, either as a participant or as a supporting cast member of some kind, because you, I think at the first one, did you have 2 cars at the first one?
Yeah, I ran a nostalgia funny car that I restored, and my AFX Pontiac Tempest at the very first race of Chaos.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of folks that have been following Funny Car Chaos all these years, they've seen Fire Engine 2 several times, but Fire Engine 3, that was such a cool car. And I have to ask you to tell people kind of that story about how you found it and restored it, because I just think that's one of the coolest things of your story. And it's one of the coolest things of anybody's story in my book, because of all the bases that it hits with love of the sport. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we were getting ready to head out to go to the Meltdown Drags up in Illinois with the AFX car. And I was waiting for some guys to get here to the shop and go with me. And I was on Craigslist thumbing through it, and this funny car came up. And it was a nostalgia 70 Trans Am funny car that was supposed to be just Tyree's. And if anybody knows me, I am a huge Pontiac fan. I've raced Pontiacs and only Pontiacs. And I called the guy. We talked for an hour about this car. And I said, all right, I'm coming to see you. I'll be there in 2 hours. Well, the car was listed in Oklahoma City, which is about 2 hours from me. So he goes, no, I'm in St. Louis. So I said, well, I will see you tomorrow. I unhooked from the big race trailer, and I hooked to my flatbed and headed for St. Louis, and purchased the car, brought it back, spent about 17 months restoring it, and with original Pontiac blown motor, and started testing it at North Star. And that's how, when Chris and I were talking about it, doing some match races, I said, yeah, let's do some match races. And that's pretty much how the first Funny Car Chaos because we were going to only do like 4 or 8 cars if we could get them together. And it exploded. I mean, we ended up with 30 some odd cars, funny cars, at that very first race. And it was a great time. I mean, I really miss driving that car.
Well, that was one of those things that, and you know how I am with the funny cars from the early 70s. And because I saw Jess Tyree at Emerald Dragway in the Texas California Challenge, maybe that same exact car. I think it was, because it was a Gen 2 Firebird, and I think he was running Hemi Power at that time. But yeah, I mean, that was one of those moments in history that really set the hook for me back when I was a kid, and then for you to have that car and to restore it so beautifully. You know what? Life is about passion, and if you have something that you're passionate about and you can do it. And, race cars is one of those things. Racing is one of those things. Caring for others and taking care of their safety is another one of those. You found a way to take that passion and make it your profession as a first responder.
Yeah, I started. I started back in '84 out of college as a volunteer fireman, and moved in. A few years later, moved to Texas. Started on the volunteer department here in Gainesville, Texas, in '88, and in '91 they hired me on, and I was a hired on paid fireman for 29 years, and I retired just a few years ago. But yeah, firefighting's been my passion, but so was racing, and you can tell by the name on my car how much it meant to me.
Yeah, you certainly can. So all of the training, 29 years? Did you say 29 years?
29 years.
During those 29 years, you learned a thing or two about saving lives and about putting out fires and about protecting people. How much of that translates to the racetrack?
Oh, a lot, a whole lot. In the fire service, it's a never-ending education. You got to know a little of everything: structure fires, buildings, hazmat, emergency care, people care. My biggest passion in the fire service was auto extrication, and that was what I taught in my department and other volunteer departments around the area. And that's every time I could get a class on extrication, that's what I did. And then I taught it back in our department. And it was a big thing for me. And, I started out with Chris in SHRA at the very beginning, running my AFX car and my Trans Am. And we had some incidents. And that was one of my things Chris and I would talk about is, we'd go to some of these races with SHRA, and we had some fast cars, and there was no fire or medical at these racetracks. And that bothered me. And we had several incidents, bad incidents, at these tracks. So it was always a passion of mine to get something started. And, right after Ken's accident at the Motorplex, just a week or so after that, Chris called me, and he knew I had a passion for this. And he goes, put something together. What can we do to make this help chaos? And I started putting things together, and with Chris and several other people, we were putting together what we can do to make it safer and make sure we got enough fire and EMS personnel on scene to keep the racers safe.
That is outstanding, and it's one of the things that people might not exactly get is just because you know how to put out fires and just because you're well trained with putting out a house fire or something like that doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to get a race car driver out of a race car that's either on fire or in a crash situation or both. And for someone like you to be at the racetrack with a hands-on, first-person experience, knowing about how race cars work, how you get them open, how you get the driver out, that's an added layer of safety that goes with you and people who are trained like you being at the racetrack. Am I right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been not only as a fireman, but I've also been in the chassis business, building race cars for 26 years now. I started out back in 97 working for Joe Munden, which was a big builder in super comp and super gas cars and alcohol dragsters. And I mean, I've been working for him for years. And then when he retired, I've carried on in my own shop, and we're still doing it today. I know how these cars are built. I know what they'll take. I know what it takes to take them apart if we need to. All these guys with these cars need to start looking at, as the off season, is go over every nut and bolt on these cars and see if you've got any cracks in that chassis. And, that's where the little things go wrong. And, we have a problem at the track. Right now at this time, right over here, I got Jade's, the Nemesis is sitting here in the shop. We're doing some updates on it and fixing some things on it and getting her ready for this next season. So, this is big to me all the way around, from the chassis all the way to the safety at the track when I'm there at the end of the track with the racers.
Okay, just for don't tell anybody else, but is there a power plant in that chassis?
No, it's a Bear chassis. but believe me, we've made some updates. They're going to be putting down some serious Phil's building some serious power for it. It's going to be for quick.
Well, it's already plenty quick. I'll tell you what, that cash money that went to them for the 3-second big block funny car run, that was out of sight.
Oh yeah.
And so I can't wait to see what's coming from them and from so many others this year. This off season, we just start talking about this, and I just get all giddy and excited and can't wait for it to happen. But we're talking safety here tonight, and which is exactly why we wanted to have you on board. For someone with a passion for racing, who may also be a first responder, a fireman, what would you recommend for them that they could do to make the racing world safer where they live?
Well, like I said before, the number one thing is the car. That's the bullet in the gun. We got to make sure that car's safe, and going over every nut and bolt and checking the chassis and making sure everything's safe in them. Making sure, our fuel systems, our hoses, everything on this car are up to date and good. The safety equipment, especially, what the guys are wearing. Don't get chintzy on, well, this time I'm not going to wear my gloves, or I'm going to wear a lighter glove. No, because like they said, it will sneak up on you and something will go bad. I'm a big believer in the safety equipment, and we're going to need to make sure that everything's up to date and right. And also, when we're going down the track, guys, this is my biggest pet peeve with funny car drivers. Drop your chutes. I've seen too many cars come down at the top end of a track after a good pull, and they don't drop the chutes, and they rely on their brakes to slow them down. And if something goes wrong in that brake system, you're off into the track, into the bushes, into the trees, and into the cornfield. Just, we need to think safety all the time, even as a driver.
That's right. Hey, Mike, I saw your comment there that you are doing exactly what Bradley is recommending, checking every nut, checking every bolt, making sure the chassis is safe. That's what you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you at Funny Car Chaos in 2024. Your passion has carried on another generation, as your daughter is now. Tell us what she's doing.
Well, I got a daughter. She's in her 7th year at Tulsa Fire, and she's a Tulsa fireman. She just made lieutenant this past week or last week, and she's an officer on a paramedic truck, and she is up with it. But she grew up with it from day one she was born. I was a fireman, and she's grown up in the fire station. And she started out at 9 years old in the junior, and we put her in a super comp at 15. She ran some outlaw stuff, and she drove a super comp dragster for several years before she got out of it and started a career.
Wow. And that is so cool. And talk about someone that following in their parents' footsteps. I know that's got to make you proud.
Yep. And I also have 2 stepsons that are in the fire academy right now. So we got a big family of firemen.
Well, and it makes me think about the Back in Black crew. You've got Cody and you got Alex, and they are both firemen. And so that fraternity grows, and I know it's a brotherhood. That all of you have something that you share that you're very, very passionate about it. Thank God. So we're happy about that. So 2024 Chaos events, safety standpoint. You've got the equipment that you've had. Any changes for the coming year?
Well, working with Chris, we've got some new equipment. We've got some bunker gear and some fire clothing that's been donated to us. Chris has just purchased a 4-wheeler, which we're going to make another quick response little fire rig out of it, and it will also have the push bar on it, so we can get the cars off the track quicker and keep the show rolling.
Well, that's excellent. Just another step up, and that's continuous improvement. You talk about it being an ongoing education process. It's an ongoing improvement process, and Chris and Tara are very committed to making sure that the drivers have an ever improving situation with regard to safety. Michael Neal chimes in and says that it's always great to know that you, sir, are at the top end of the racetrack when they're about to come their way towards the top end. Thank you for everything you do, buddy. All right. And Fred Spell, you talked about that new 4-wheeler. Fred Spell certainly very heavily involved in helping to make that happen. Fred Spell has been just such a blessing to the series. So, Fred, we really appreciate you, sir, very much for all the continued support. Well, Brad, you're at the chassis shop. I guess you're about to call it a day, or are you going to go ahead and work until 11:30 or 12?
No, we're calling it a day. It's been a long day.
All right. Tommy Guns, you're in Sanger. Is that where the chassis shop is?
Sanger, Texas.
Okay. All right. Right there on I-35 north of Denton, not too far from where the original Funny Car Chaos event took place at the old North Star Dragway. And they're turning out race cars and turning out quality work up there at Tommy Guns Speed Shop. That's our man with the safety plan. He's Bradley Thompson. And brother, it's great to see you here. And thank you for telling your story, the safety story of Funny Car Chaos.
Thank you, David.
All right, man. Well, that's a great time talking there with Bradley, and we'll see him at the first race of the season at the Texas Motorplex coming up that first weekend of April. It's the weekend after Easter, so you got your calendars marked for Easter on that last weekend of March. The next weekend is the weekend that we are all looking forward to so much, is that first race of the 2024 season at the Texas Motorplex. Going to be there with the solar eclipse and all that jazz, and all of you tuning in. So I'll be right back after this break, and Lee and I will wrap things up here on this episode of Chaos Live.
What can 360 Steel do for you? We make custom steel products made right here in Illinois. Fire pits of all kinds, knockdown styles to take along anywhere. Hold your drinks high with our drink stands while throwing horseshoes or bags. We have a complete line of military to firefighter signs, flags, hats, stickers, and more, along with many styles of decor. Welcome signs and custom clocks to a number of different monograms and signs. Personalized, custom options for your perfect sign. Bare steel or powder coated to last indoors and outdoors. 360steel.com. Spell it out. 360steel.com.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Lee, we have such great friends of Funny Car Chaos that are our sponsors and racers and supporters. I just love what we do.
We definitely have a tremendous crowd around Chaos and in Chaos. Those that are racing, those that are supporting it, and it goes beyond the Chaos. It goes beyond the track, and it is a great bunch for sure. You know, Dennis, he helped me out with coverage in Pomona concerning NHRA alcohol racing, and Fred Spell has helped out as well. And Bradley, wow, we definitely in Chaos, it is good that we're advancing in safety as the competition of this series has continued to advance. And, you know, we've seen some serious incidents. It's racing. So the more that we have out there for those in Chaos competing in it and around it, the better. So, Fred, thank you for your help in supporting Chaos on the safety side and the endeavors there. And thank you, Bradley, for your expertise and your efforts as well.
Lee, it is just about Christmas season, just about time for opening presents and family gatherings and all those kind of things. And I know you're homeward bound, and there's going to be. I'm headed out on another trip starting on Saturday to do a little family visitation at points east of here. So it's been great seeing you. And hey, man, I really appreciate all the work that you do with the sportsman categories, the alcohol dragsters, and the alcohol funny cars. You know, you are doing some great work out there, my friend.
I appreciate that, David. Thank you. Trying to, you know, in a lot of ways, give exposure, no matter where I'm at, to those that need more exposure, period. You know, even what I'm doing at McKinney Corp, Murph and Tate and the team that's there realized that they needed a social media presence, but they didn't know how to do it. They weren't sure what they were getting into. And I think being able to take their social media and move it forward and make people realize that Murph's not dead. There were people who thought he had died. And it's like, no, Murph's alive and well. In fact, he's out there on Jim Whiteley's car right now grinding on it. And I think as well, you know, the alcohol classes, they have such great racing, such great personalities. They needed more exposure. And then you look at where Chaos is, this continual, growing, great competitive series. And the people that are there, they need their stories told as well. There are fabulous competitors amongst the Chaos ranks. And it is so fascinating in Chaos because of the run what you brung nature. If it's a funny car, bring it. And you get so many different combinations, so many different types of people. Why are they running what they're running? And how do they get it all together? Like, it's exciting to hear, you know, Jade has her chassis in the shop and making updates, and briefly talked with Field there at PRI, and they're ready to go, and they're going to be quicker, and they're going to be faster. And they were holding back a little bit even, I think, last year to some extent. We all know they were, but, you know, they showed their hand up there at Albuquerque that, oh, you can do that up at this elevation. And then they showed out at Mocan, and it's definitely going to be good to see the Nemesis be a Nemesis possibly in the A field. I'm fully expecting that in 2024. Kirk Williams, spoke with him briefly at PRI, was able to introduce him to Murph there at the McKinney booth, and they have laid the keel, if you will, on a brand new Williams Brothers Racing chassis, and they're going to have a new chassis for 2024, and they are going to come out swinging with the intent to take back a crown in Funny Car Chaos competition. So it's heating up. You have people doing things throughout the land in Chaos Nation to get ready for 2024 and vie for a Funny Car Chaos Championship and vie for a Nitro Chaos Championship. Yeah, Darren, good job, man, that he went and got the photos. There is Wayne Hoffman's ride for 2024.
Wow. That looks even better than I thought.
It is spectacular. It is awesome.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
he is breaking the drag racing internet right now on social media.
All right. Well, bring it on, big boy. Bring it on. That is outstanding to see. And I can't wait to see it up close and personal at the Texas Motorplex.
It's going to be good.
Season.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Ed Wolf. You know, our Ed Wolf is one of the best friends that a racer can have, and he's certainly been one of the best friends that Funny Car Chaos has ever had. And we want to send our best wishes to him. And I understand there was a tornado nearby, and that may have impacted them. But Ed, we're thinking about you, praying for you. We love you. Can't wait to see you, and wishing you a Merry Christmas too out there. Some folks are going to be coming in for the January event at the Motorplex, the tuning seminar, the cats that Will Hanna's putting on in conjunction with Funny Car Chaos. So that gathering, I think there's 50, 60, it may be more by now as the numbers continue to come up with people who are heading this way. But you know what? Last show of the season, Lee, man, I got to tell you, it is, the anticipation is building for the banquet coming up in February, where we get to pass out the trophies and the loot and all the accolades that have been earned by the incredible group of racers that we have. I'm telling you, just cannot wait to see everybody and get together again. So if you haven't already got your reservations made, you know, it's coming up February 3rd, and that's going to be at the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa, and a good time will be had. You can bank on that.
Certainly looking forward to being there, and the catch deal that Will Hanna's putting on. Briefly talked with him about that on my show several weeks back now, and that is such a great thing. Glad that's taking place. And again, that's just going to elevate people within Chaos and be that much more competitive for them to be able to glean from someone like Will Hanna, who has definitely the prowess within tuning and driving and know-how of these cars. So it is going to be interesting to hear the reports from people leaving that program and saying, hey, I learned something, we're going to apply it, and you're going to see us running better. And everybody running better gives us that much more in storylines for 2024. And yeah, I can't wait for the banquet. Wonder what storylines are going to take place there that we might be able to. Well,
I was going to say
we're going to be able to see. You're right, but we won't be able to tell them and be like, you should have just been there. That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, 2024 racing season, better, faster, safer, and but always a great time, and it's going to be so much fun. Again, there's only two kinds of people in the world: those who love Funny Car Chaos, and those who have never been. And if you're somebody that's never been, 2024 is just ahead. Hey, Lee, thanks so much for all that you do and for being here tonight. I guess that's going to put a wrap on, put a bow on this show. And we understand we've got another one coming up in just a couple of weeks, so watch out. And we'll keep you posted on that upcoming show that is kind of being worked on in the background as we speak. So for all of you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We will see you on the next show. We're thinking about you, and we can't wait till the next time that we get to shake hands and give a hug and do a little more bench racing. So that's going to do it for tonight. Chaos Live. We will see you at the drag. Good night, everybody.